Hi, I'm Louisa, and I'm just going to go through a few things that you can do in side lying to get your practice going at home. So we'll cover some side lying rotation and some side lying leg work. So you need your mat, and you'd also need some head support. I've got 4 little cushions, each one's about an inch thick, so normally 3 to 4 would be fine for most people. Maybe just grabbing a cushion or a pillow or folding up a towel that you might have at home already. So we'll come onto your side. We're just going to get ourselves organised in our side lying chair position. So I want this head support a little bit behind me so that when I rotate I've got support there. Otherwise we've got our shoulders stacked, our hips stacked, legs in a kind of chair position and the shins fairly parallel to the front of the mat. If you're on the floor as opposed to my raised mat, you'd have the arms extended to begin with. And we just want to make sure we're not squashing that underneath arm and shoulder. So a sense of like lifting away from the mat and reaching the crown of the head away from you. A little hint of lift through the waist will be lovely as well. So I'm just going to remind you of a few of the options we tend to cover in class. It might be that 1 or 2 of these variations suit you better. So one is our arm openings. So we can inhale as you open that arm, look at your hand, soften your shoulder, and exhale as you gently rotate from the ribs without dropping that arm back. Breath when you get there, and then we're slowly gathering back again. So inhale to open, exhale to rotate. Another option is our bow and arrow. You could start to draw the hand across the underneath hand, arm, just pause when it gets to your chest, gently rotate, and then keep the upper arm pretty still in the shoulder joint as you extend. Breath there, and you just come back like your arm opening. So you inhale to move that arm, exhale to rotate, continue that movement. Breath there to gather back. We also sometimes do chalk circles, and that can be done with the bent arm. I've just got the hand to the shoulder, just beginning to stir that arm in the shoulder joint, and then let the ribs, head, neck gently move, and you follow that motion through with the arm. Still keeping that waist long and the hips square. You might want to do that with an extended arm, so that arm can glide up, ribs, head, neck, and you're just continuing that same motion. Another possibility, as a reminder, sometimes it may help you to just place your hand to your chest, or you might come into a kind of salute position with either the back or the front of the hand to the forehead. So at least those keep the arm and the shoulder pretty still, and you can just focus on the rotation. So you take your breath, and as you breathe out, you're just gently rotating, not forcing anything back, and then rocking forward again, taking that breath in as we face forward, exhale to gently rotate. When you've finished, you can stack up the arms and just perhaps reach and roll that upper body and your upper back forward and back just a few times. So often when we're doing side lying, we might combine our rotation and our side leg work. So I'm going to go through some of that now as well. You could keep exactly the same cushion setup that you've got if that's working for you, or you might want to extend that underneath arm. I do have my palm up. I'll try not to drop my cushions off the edge there. So I've just got my arm extended, couple of little cushions. And from our chair shape, we can nudge the legs back, so you're in an oyster position. It's the same angle of the legs that my feet are just in line with my bottom. You could have hand to hip or arm and hand lightly in front of you. So we can exhale as we open without rocking the pelvis back, and inhale to close. So see how that feels. Sometimes it helps to think of engaging outer hip or glute, or flexing both feet and lightly pressing them in towards each other. Other possibilities while you're in your side leg setup, we could come into a chair shape. These next few exercises I'm going to do with a long leg. You could absolutely do the same movement with a bent leg as well. So you can lengthen that top leg away in line with your hip. I'm just going to keep that ankle flexed initially, so really reaching away. You can exhale to lift, Inhale to lower, just back to hip height. If you wanted to, you could do a point to lift up and a flex to lower to hip height. Watch we don't tense through that upper body. Let's do a couple more of those. When you finish, you stack up the leg, bend it, have a little rub if you need to, and we'll also cover forward and back, so you can lengthen that leg away in line with your hip. Flex from the ankle, still find that reach, keeping that stability, and you can kick the leg forward as you exhale without tilting your pelvis. That's what I'm just checking for here. Inhale, soft point, exhale as you sweep it back. So keep it in line with your hip. So if you've got a mirror or maybe your device, you can pop your camera on to try and keep an eye on that. So we're not tilting as we come forward or arching as we go back. Fantastic. When you finish those, sometimes it's quite nice just to take that leg back a little bit, still keeping the support from your center. You may want to reach the top arm forward and maybe rotate upper body forward just a little. Or you could come into a side lying quad stretch. So we're trying to get the thigh in line with your hip. You don't have to grab the foot. Some of you might be able to do that, but it's not necessary. When you find that shape, you can find a little hint of just tucking the tailbone forward. Another option is the underneath leg could come into a turnout, a bit like your oyster shape, and you get a little stretch for the outer thigh as well. So whichever one works for you, just linger there for a few breaths, and then you can slowly untangle, stacking back up, and have another little rub, and then we will head over to do the same on the other side. So bringing your stuff with you. So plenty of head support first of all. I'll just remind you of the rotation options for our second side. You're in your chair position. You may want to use some support between the knees if that's more comfortable for you. So everything's stacked. We're not squashing. We've got that lovely length there. Arms and shoulders stacked, and the shins are fairly parallel to the front edge of your mat. You could inhale to open, look at your hand, exhale to soften, breath there, gently gathering back. We'll just do a couple of those. The bow and arrow, you'd slide the top arm hand over the underneath one as you inhale, rotate as you exhale, and then extend the arm without really changing that angle at your shoulder joint. Breath there to come back just like an arm opening. So you slide the arm, gently rotate and open. Breath and then return. The chalk circle, you bring your hand to your shoulder. You could start just stirring that arm in the shoulder joint, then follow with your rotation and then continue that around. So inhaling to start, exhaling as you rotate. It may suit you to extend the arm or just skirting around the equipment so the arm goes up, exhale, continue that circle around. And the final option just to bear in mind is keeping perhaps the hand to chest, settle that shoulder where it's comfortable for you, or back or front of the hand to the forehead, so in a kind of salute position. Just get the shoulder comfortable, and you'd inhale as you face forward, exhale as you gently rotate. So you don't have to really worry about where to position the arm. You can just focus your attention on that thoracic rotation. And when you've finished, we can stack up, reach that top arm, upper body forward just a few times. And then we'll go through the side leg options on this side as well. So you might leave the cushions, or you might extend your underneath arm and perhaps have a cushion or two there. So the first thing we did was oyster. So from your chair shape, just nudging the legs back a little so the feet are in line with your bum, hips are stacked, hand to hip or lightly in front of you without that shoulder creeping up. So you'd exhale to open and inhale to close for our oyster here. You might want to think about contracting this area of the outer hip and glute, and or maybe flexing both ankles with lightly pressing the inner edge of the feet together as you open, and see if that kind of helps you find some other connections. Other possibilities, we could do our lift and lower. So just going to nudge the legs forward back to that chair position. These couple of exercises you could do with the bent leg as well as the straight leg. But we can lengthen that long leg away in line with your hip. Keep the foot flexed initially, and your exhale to lift up, inhale to lower just to hip height. So really find that sense of lengthening the leg from your strong and stable center. If you want to, you could point up and flex down. So still searching for that length and that ease. Fantastic. Another possibility, just stack up the leg in between, is our forward and back. So long leg, foot flex. You can kick forward, point back. Keep that leg in line with your hip, and all the while we're keeping the pelvis steady. So we're not tilting as the leg goes forward or arching as the leg goes back. Whenever you finish those, you may want to find some kind of quad stretch where you get that thigh in line with your hip. Keep it parallel, you're not twisting it in or out. Some of you might be comfortable to grab the foot, but you don't need to. Just find some length here and come into a little hint of a pelvic tilt, and you may feel a bit more stretch around the hip and the groin. Optional, underneath leg turns out, so you get that stretch to the outer thigh, and you can take a few breaths into there. So just give yourself a couple of moments to settle, and then once you're done, you can untangle, release, and have a little rub. So I hope that's helpful, just so if you've got a few moments, you can do some rotation and side leg work in side lying. Let me know how you get on, and keep up the good work over the summer holidays. Thanks so much. Bye.